Hi, hi Chabo. This is Sebastian Griffin De Kenguan here. Today I would like to talk a little bit about Chabo, talk about you guys, and also talk about those that I do not know. Now, so far I only know you guys. I refer to as Chabo. Chabo means to me personally means those girls or those women that have my children, have my child. But without me knowing who are they. I do not know your name. I do not know who are you. I only call you by the name Chabo, except for Carol Talk. Now I know Carol Talk through Facebook, but we do not have any interactions. We do not have any courtship. That means no romantic relationship before, and I do not know how somehow she got my children. She got Xiaomi Yao. Now, even Xiaomi Yao, I do not know his own name, his real name, the name that registered with JPN or with this national registrar in Malaysia. I believe he named after the Tok family. The Tok family actually is a Kara Tok family, not my surname. Uh, my surname is Tei. Only Yu Tong, my daughter. Only Yu Tong is named after Tei Yu Tong. Now I'm not sure whether Yu Tong is my indeed my daughter or not. Still need to find out. Still need to carry out the DNA test. Now today I would like to talk a little bit about this sort of uh, human human right. I will call it a new violations of human right because this actually not really captured in the United Nations Universal Human Rights Declaration. Not directly captured in this United Nations Universal Human Rights Declarations, and also I think European also have their human right. It spell out some a charter for human right as well as I think most of the countries, most of the democratic countries, they have a set of law, especially in the constitutions, that spell out what are the civil rights, what are the human rights that are protected by the constitutions. Now, in this case, in today's context, I would like to talk about not only married without consent, which is a phenomena like arranged marriage or forced marriage. Now, this arranged marriage means two strangers being arranged into a marriage where both parties do not know each other prior to the marriage. So that is arranged marriage. The arranged marriage actually come in many forms. Some in China now predominantly they are not so they are not like in the past. China now are quite liberal. Even arranged marriage, they get to know each other before the marriage. In fact, they have dating, they have proper courtship before the arranged marriage. And this is actually not arranged marriage. It's actually uh, more like they're having a platform for both parties to meet up each other and to know each other before the marriage, before deciding whether to go ahead or not. So which I think is okay, which I think is good, and it is okay. It actually provide a platform to let each other to let both sides know each other in a wider context because China got 1.2 billion, I think coming to 1.3 billion populations. So creating such platform actually can widen their uh, sort of like the possibility or the prospect to get to get the spouse or the partner from a wider audience. So that actually is a good idea. In fact, it's not only limited to China. It open to many. It is sort of like open the market themselves to a market. Now, for my case, I have, as per my knowledge, I know four of these girls that I have not verified yet. Now, the first is Carrot Talk. Carrot Talk, I know her through Facebook, but I do not know her personally. So as to how she got my babies, which I call him Xiaomi Yao. I previously called all my childrens, my boys, male childrens. I call them Xiao Zhuzhong, little ancestor. But for Carol Talk son, I give a special privilege. I call him Xiao Min Yao. Xiao Min Yao also, I call him little ancestor. So he could be my little ancestor, also could be my Xiao Min Yao. And then another is Yu Tong. Yu Tong, I call her Xiao Ba Bei. means little precious. And also she's also my only daughter that I know, this Tei Yu Tong. I do not know her mother at all, but I suspect her mother actually previously studied in convent Bukit Nanas, which is opposite of my high school. I studied in St. John Institute, located in the same location, but my school is a boys' school and her school is a girls' school, convent. But I do not know her personally. I have no idea who she is. Uh, that is what I suspect. And she probably come from, live in Malaysia before, but probably come from Myanmar. So this is Tei Yu Tong case. Now for Tei Yu Tong, I know the child name, but I do not know her mother name. But for Carrot Top, I know Carrot Top, the mother name, but I do not know the child name. Now another is I do not know the children's name. I also do not know her name. That is YTL, Tan Sri Francis Yo daughter. Tan Sri Francis Yo daughter, which is belong to the YTL group, the Yong Tiong Le group. The Yong Tiong Le group, Francis Yo daughter, I think she got two sons. She got two sons for me, but I do not know her name. I know something. Yo is her surname, but as to what is her real name, her full name, and also her sons, that means both sons name, I have no idea. And as to whether these two sons belong to me or not is still a question. And the fourth is the fourth household, I call it the fourth Chabo, is from Singapore. Now he could be one of my uncle, not the real uncle, one of Teh Kaseng's siblings' daughter, which I previously called, I think it's Bai Yi. The father name is Bai Yi, and I do not know her name. Probably also share the same surname as me, as Teh, because her father is Teh, and she's definitely Teh, the surname, and my surname also Teh. But my actual surname is not Teh. It's supposed to be Tan. So I do not know who is she. I rarely have any interaction with her. Do not know about her, but she got one son for me, and this son resembling Xiao Miao a lot. So these are the four women who I call Chabo. They have my children that I do not know them at all except for Carrot Top. And out of these four women, I only know Tei Yu Tong as my daughter. The rest I do not know their name. Now I do not discount there are possibility where my parents extract my sperm and germinate or fertilize a woman in the US or in the UK, or even both, UK and US, might also have my children's where I do not know the children's name. I probably never met them before, and also I also surely do not know who is the girl. Now the reason why the girls, those are women, are willing to have my baby is probably due to money. Probably my parent, whether it's my father or my mother, use the money, whether it's in terms of business cooperation or business partnership, or just use the money to bribe or to pay to those girls to have my babies. Now I have to declare here, I have to state here very clearly, I have no problem in communications. I have no problem of getting my own preferred girls. I do not need to do blind dating. This is not even blind dating. This is not even arranged marriage or forced marriage. I do not even marry them. I do not even know them, and they're already a few steps in advance, already got my children. So this is the problem. Now by right, in the normal circumstances, a couple have to know each other. A male and a female, man and woman, have to know each other, and then once they know each other, they can be a friend. They get acquaintance. They know each other, the name, the communication method, where they have exchange phone number. That is the norm. Exchange phone number in this modern context. Email, phone number, WhatsApp, or whatever communication methods. One established communications, if both sides have feeling toward each other, they will approach each other and chase each other and have courtship or dating, the so-called dating or courtship, romantic relationship for at least a few months, or at least normally in normal circumstances. I think around the world at least 1 month plus. In Vietnam, where I used to work before, they at least have 1 month romantic relationship before they decide to marry or not. Now, in a normal circumstances, in countries like US, in countries like Singapore or developed countries, they could drag for years, for at least 6 months and above, live together. In Chinese called 同居, that means they cohabit, co-living together in the same accommodations, to know each other habits, to know each other deeper. Once they establish the communication, and once they decided to live to be before married, they have to live together. So that is a norm. Especially in the first world country, they sometimes live for years, 3 years, 4 years, sometimes 6, 10 years before they decide whether to marry or not, to get married or not. Then only after they get married, they will decide whether have children or not. So you see the case or not? The first is to know each other, first step. The second is to decide whether they wanted to have relationship or not, girlfriend boyfriend relationship, second step. Then once they decided yes, the answer is yes, then the third is a courtship, enter into courtship. After the courtship and the relationship matured, then only they decide to marry or not. Sometimes they even have this phenomena called fiancé, and fiancé means before the marriage they have sort of like a role play, sort of like engagement. They want to engage first before the marriage, before the legal paper is signed. So they engage first and then married. So after married, then another step, whether they want to have children or not. Sometimes married couple, they might not want to have children. It has to come from both sides. It has to come from both male and female, the husband and wife. Both have to decide whether they want to have children or not. Then only, if they so decided to have children, then only they have children. So 5 steps. So my parent actually skipped 5 steps. I do not even know them. No communication method. Even until now, I only have Talk Messenger. I do not have any of their phone numbers, any of these 4 girls' phone number. I do not have any of these 4 girls' communication method other than Talk Facebook messengers. Then dating, surely I do not have any dating relationship with any of them. I think the US and the British side is even worse. I do not even know them. I do not even know their existence. And surely I never married any of them. None of them. I never married of them. I would not consider to marry any of them. Honestly, I'm not consider to marry any of them. Any of the 4 girls that I know, I will not marry them. I will not consider to marry them for sure. And as for the British and probably there are British girls and also the American girls, I definitely would not consider them if they have my baby before I even know them. So that is kind of scenario that I have to say. And this is a serious violation of human rights, and I already suggested to the UN, United Nations, to be included in the United Nations Universal Human Rights Declarations, because this phenomena is not only happen to me, it could happen to many other people. Especially wealthy people, they tend to keep their mouth shut because of their reputations, because of fame, because of their opportunity to do business will be affected. If the world know about their circumstances, if the world know that, and also these are super wealthy people, they do not want the world to know their existence. They do not want to reveal their wealth, and as a result, they keep playing all these games, and they do not even want to let the world know their children's identity. So this is how they hide children. But to me, this is a serious violation, and I hope countries' leader, especially countries such as America, the United States of America, and also the United Kingdom. They have to enforce the law. They have to, uh, of course, it is no longer a human under human right, but this is considered rape. First is the rape, and then second is uh, to steal my sperm, and also without my permissions, they already got my children's. Now I believe my mother's side or my father's side probably do a lot of paperwork. They are very good in this paperwork thing. But the fact is that I do not know all these children, and I would not have any business relationship with any of them. Even YTL, they're very established. They actually by revenue they are the biggest company by revenue in Malaysia. YTL. Now, if that is proven true, I do not know yet. I do not know whether YTL, the franchisor daughter, is indeed having my children or not. That I am not sure yet. I need to get DNA test first. Only tested positive, then only it is true. Otherwise, it is not. I hope it is not not because I hate YTL or not because I do not like them. Simply because I do not want to have any relationship with any girls, whether it's wealthy or poor or whatever girls, without even know them, without even have a proper courtship. So I actually hope I do not have any children with any of these four girls, as well as any girls based in UK, US, or anywhere else in the world, before I even have a romantic relationship, before I even know them. Now the reason being for my parents to store my sperm and germinate is probably because they do not want me to decide myself. I do not know about my children, and I do not know about my parents. I do not know who, until now I do not know who is my father, and I also do not know much about my mother, Esther Lim. Honestly, there's literally not much interaction between me and my mother, Esther Lim. She probably do not know me. She probably know me only through middleman. Middleman means the spy that they send to surveillance me, to learn about me. Now this middleman, what they say to my mother could be a different story, could be something different from what the reality, what I'm actually is. The problem here is that my mother and both my mother and father, they did not have much interaction with me. They do not know me actually. I also do not know about them. But I know they are very violent. My mother has been attacking me using gun, using knife, and using fists attack me many times. I do not know about my father, but my grandfather from my father's side are also not any better. They also cut me, chop me, trying to kill me. So none of them are actually good. Even my stepbrother from Thailand, he's a Thai. I think these people, they have a lot of children everywhere, and they use knife to cut me many times, to attack me, assault me, literally stab me. So this is kind of things I go through, and I know many government, especially small countries, they are not able to uphold the laws. But big countries like US, UK, and China, I hope they can uphold the law. I'm fighting against Malaysia for the violations of the constitution against minority, and at the same time now I'm also fighting for my own justice. And in UK side also there are problems where the royal member, the British royal, raped me, which I do not like. It's not that I do not like them, it's that I have a platonic relationship, a non-sexual relationship with them. It's purely because I need them to fight against the NEP, and also to listen to me as an international audience about the case in Malaysia, not to have any personal relationship with them. I am not interested to have any personal relationship with any of the British royalty or any nobility. To be a normal friend is okay, just a normal friend, a platonic relationship, a normal friend, but not sexual relationship. And definitely I have to tell Queen Camilla that I do not have any time stone or whatever stone, that she probably hallucinating or what, I do not know. It is wrong for a royal member or anyone, whether it's a diplomat or not, to extort money to or to rob me or to commit burglary on me, to me, whether it's in UK or in Thailand or anywhere else in the world. This is what I have to tell them. If they committed crime, I hope the British can enforce the law. There is a thing called Magna Carta. Magna Carta is signed a few hundred years ago. That means the royalty and also the government, the British government, do not have, is actually below the law. They are not above the law. They have to be regulated. They are also regulated by the law. They are not above the law. This is Magna Carta, and of course, there are bills of rights and all that. They're telling the same thing. They should not commit crime. They should not get away with crime. So this is what I have to tell them, and also I have to repeat my stance. Now, if this country are not able to enforce their law, now the reason why I fight against Malaysia is because Malaysia are unable to follow the constitutions. Malaysia are violating the constitutions, are not treating the minority like a citizen. In fact, they violate a lot of human rights. But that is, I fighting against the government for the people, for the public in general. But this is my case, that I'm the victim in this case, and I hope this government, whether it's UK, US, please enforce your law. And I do not owe UK or US anything, but the public, if you are in the public sector, if you are a government, the role of the government is to regulate, is to enforce the law. If you do not enforce the law, there is no use to have police, there is no use to have public prosecutor, there is no use to have a government. It is not a business. In the private sector, it is always a business case, but in the public sector, you are receiving public money in order to regulate the law. You owe a duty to the general public, whether it's your own citizen or anyone affected by it within your sovereignty. You have the responsibility and obligations to enforce the law and to make good of the situations. Now, if it is in your law, within your law, that nobody can rape somebody, I think this is akin to a rape. To have children and later to blackmail or to have commercial interest without another party's consent. This is a violation of law, and I hope you can please, not because of money, because I know my grandfather are super rich. They are billionaire, probably trillionaire. They are super rich. They own a lot of banks, a lot of factories, a lot of businesses, whether in US or elsewhere. Please do not, because of money, you betray the country. Because if you do not enforce the law, you actually lost your sovereignty. How a country define a law, their sovereignty, to protect the sovereignty, is to enforce the law. The law that determine, that spell out, that make the countries unique, that form the country sovereignty, that it actually to describe what the country is, how the country function, how the country operate. If the government do not enforce the law just because of some investment, because of financial gain in certain from a certain group or from a certain family, if you create an incident or a precedence, then more and more wealthy people will tend to break the law, will tend to disregard your sovereignty, because a law, a country is a country is defined by the law that it has. Certain countries, like for example Singapore, do not allow for chewing gum, do not allow people to consume chewing gum and to sell chewing gum in Singapore. That is how Singapore define the country. That is how Singapore tell the world this is what Singapore is. Of course, elsewhere in the world, people can eat chewing gum, can sell chewing gum, but in Singapore, it's not allowed for. And they enforce the law. So that is how make Singapore Singapore. Now, likewise for UK and US, if US have a set of law, if they do not enforce the law, if they do not, just because of some money, some financial benefit or some investment, then US lost its sovereignty. US, the definition of US is defined by how it regulates the law. If they do not regulate the law, anybody can rob, anybody can rape, anybody can just because of having some investment, they can impregnate a woman, and or somebody can steal somebody sperm and impregnate themselves in order to blackmail or to have business partnership, and this is a human right violations. And if US do not want to regulate, do not want to enforce the law, then US lost its reason to have its own sovereignty. And in these circumstances, if US countries like US and UK are not interested to have their own sovereignty, basically these countries, anyone can do anything in this country just because of some financial gain. That means if I can kill somebody, I can spread some virus or few viruses in the US, and I can tell President Trump, okay, I will invest 600 billion US dollars in the US for some crime I did. It is the same, it's akin to my grandfather to invest some money, few billions, and then he can violate the law, he can break the law. So I'm asking President Trump, is it possible I spend 600 billion US dollar to invest in the US, and I will give 5 viruses, I will spread 5 viruses, deadly virus that kill 300 million American. I will kill them, I will test America, whether it's Johnson and Johnson can come out with a vaccine, 5 vaccines to target 5 different viruses, and I will need to test the American whether American can have the immunity. The body can create immunity for 5 different viruses at the same time after the injection, after the vaccine. I'm not sure whether this is possible, and if because of this I kill all the American, 300 of them, 300 millions of them, for a few billion dollars investment, whether it is okay or not, whether it's because I invest some money in the US, then I can break the law, killing people, rape people, or do something, violate others people human right. So I'm giving an analogy to this is not a threat, this is just an analogy to President Trump. Is it okay? Is it, as a businessman, is it okay to have the tit for tat? You know, this is what the Turkey premier previously charged President Trump for the tit for tat. You know, the quid pro quo. The quid pro quo is normally in a business arena, but this is a public sector. In a public sector, you cannot be corrupted. You cannot, because of money, because of somebody invest some money in your country, then you give in your law. You close one eye, they call it, you close one eye. It is not the case. In a public sector, no matter how much a businessman invests in your country, you have to uphold your law. You have to implement and enforce your law in order to make your country relevant. Because your country is defined by the law that the people's representative created. If you are not interested to uphold your law, if you do not have the integrity to uphold your law, then there's no equality, because the poor will always being marginalized, will being bullied by the rich. If the rich can just spend a few million and then they can create havoc, they can break the law in your country, then your country is no longer a country. It is an anarchy, because anyone with money can break the law. A capitalist society is not like that. A capitalist society only meant for the business, the private activities, private economy activities. It shall not interfere with the public. It shall not interfere with the public activities, especially when it comes to law enforcement. If law enforcement is being the process of law enforcement is being interfered or being sabotaged by capitalists in a way that to the extent that the law no longer function, then this country literally lost its sovereignty. I have to say this very clear, because if countries like America, any countries for the matter, if you cannot uphold your law, if you cannot uphold, you do not have the enough integrity to uphold your law, probably because of some personal financial gains, or because of some investment. I believe in this case, if it's Donald Trump, it is a businessman to a businessman. My grandfather, a big businessman, to Donald Trump, a big businessman. If it is a financial gain or because of financial benefits, you give in, then of course the entire country probably will have to face a severe consequences as a result. Because I hope that America can, of course, before anything, I hope that America know what happened. Like the case in UK, I also hope to promulgate the same case to the entire British and let the people judge first. Now, if the people are blind, if the people are racist just because I'm not a white person, and if the people are racist, then of course, I hope to let them taste their own medicine, so they know what is the feeling, what is how the medicine tastes like. So this is me, I have to tell it very carefully. Of course, I definitely give opportunity for the government not only to repent, before even to repent, I give them the opportunity to uphold their law, to enforce their law, so that they have to let the world know their country actually function properly, not distorting, not deviating from the law. Now, if they are trying to negotiate with me, I do not want to actually negotiate with them. I do not accept anyone violate my human right. If they do not treat me like a human, I will not treat them like a human. This is me. It is very clear. And I've been very good to them, and I honestly can help the America to resolve many world issues, and this is not because of my case. Me being violated, and also the Malaysia NEP, the new economy policy case. I believe for my case, that if involve American, that is the American government duty to enforce their law. Now, for the NEP issues, I actually intended to repeal the NEP because it is a violation of the federal constitution, and America as an international audience, as a democratic country, and also as an international audience, have the obligation to step in. Because if I raise it to United Nations and the case become valid, United Nations also will look for countries like US or UK or Australia, big countries like this, democratic country like this, to come into the picture and mend the problem. So I do not know if I do not know who the United Nations will send delegate or representative. Previously, I think there are a few times the UN sent the rapporteur to Malaysia, but I do not see any result from there, from that incidents. I hope that America can step in to mend the problem. Now, for NEP is optional. I'm not forcing US to do anything, but my thing, if it is concerning America, American person, American citizen, I hope the American government can step in to do their job. Now, for me, if I'm voluntarily wanted to help America in resolving world issue, that is my personal that is on my own volition. My own volition means that is whether I volunteer or not is up to me. I do not have any honors. That means any responsibility. I do not have any responsibility. I do not owe any responsibility to the US government or any government for the matter, because I do not have any privity. I'm not being paid by the US government or have any legal any contractual relationship with the US government. But the US government have a legal responsibility, a legal obligation to enforce the law. So I have to say this very clear. If the US government, if Donald Trump is not clear about what I said, they can refer to the legal expert, lawyers or judges or whoever, to advise them, to advise Donald Trump whether it is okay because somebody invests some money in the country, then they can close one eye or they can disregard these human right violations. So I'm telling this, and I will also, if the country are unable to enforce the law, so you do not blame me to become a terrorist. I do not want to be a terrorist, but if you are terrorizing me, I have to reciprocate in return. So this is me. Thank you very much.